Thank you very much for having the voices from the South with you tonight. In the next weeks, the eyes of the world will be in Canada. As hosts, it will be a tremendous opportunity to promote Canada's real values and interests. Many, many moons ago, I worked for IDRC, and I always looked at Canadian people with pride and for inspiration. You have to bring back that power in this debate of the G8. There is no doubt that this is an incredible opportunity to support and maintain Canada's championship role that is not in your government, is in the people of Canada as major defenders of our rights, especially women's rights. Let me point out two areas in which Canada, you, can make a difference: climate change and gender equality. Climate change is more than just reducing emissions. It's about bringing a human face into this debate. Although climate change will affect everyone worldwide, its impacts will be distributed differently between women and men, as well as many regions, generations, ages, classes, income groups, and occupations. The poor, the majority of whom are women living in developing countries, will be and are being disproportionately affected. Yet, most of the debate in climate change is gender blind. Women are incredible, powerful agents of change, which leadership on climate change is vital. Women can help or hinder strategies related to energy, use, deforestation, population, economic growth, and science and technologies, among many other things. Do you know that women produce up to 80% of the staple food that we eat in this world? Do you know that Aboriginal women have kept the knowledge of thousands of varieties of seeds and plants that now its results help us to cope with climate change? But it's not only about the quantity, but also about the quality. Women not only manage biodiversity for greater availability of food, they also manage it for a specific nutritional values. We also have played a major role in reforestation. For example, since 2001, women in Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, and Mexico have planted more than 400 Majan nut trees as part of the Majan Nut Project. This has also increased the food supplies for their community. We also know that women are dying 4 to 1 in the major disasters that we are facing. In 2007, there were more than 960 major natural disasters. A study conducted by the London School of Economics showed that from 141 countries from 1981 to 2002, they found that natural disasters in those countries in which the gender gaps were bigger had those ratios of deaths. However, in those countries in which the gender gap was lower or not that big, the same amount of women and men died. And they died not because we're weaker, not because women in the South were weak. Let me bring Doña Vera to you tonight. Doña Vera is a woman who used to live in Honduras, in the coast, when Hurricane Mitch struck. She had 3 kids. Her neighbor comes and tells her, "Vera, I heard on the radio that winds of 260 kilometers are coming." And she said, "How much is 260 kilometers?" She had never been to school. She had never driven a car, not even a bicycle. 260 kilometers make no sense to her. So what should we do? Well, I heard the man talking once that we have to walk nearby the river, something you should never do when there is possibility of a flood. But there they went. She was holding 2 of her kids by her hand and 1 baby tied to her body. The waters are coming, and she was only able to climb a tree with the baby that she had on her body, and the 2 other kids were washed away. 3 days in a tree, fighting against the snakes that also want to get there. She was picked up, put into refugee camp, and her words were, "You know what happened to single women when they get there. She was raped." And then she came back to what used to be her house, made of cardboards and sinks, was nothing left. An NGO came and said, "We're going to help you rebuild your house, Vera, but where are your land rights?" She didn't have property rights. And Doña Vera said, probably Mitch had something more against women than it had against men. Despite this, despite the experience and knowledge, women have not been given an equal opportunity to participate in critical decision-making on climate change. So what can we do? What can all of you do in the next days? First, you have to ask for gender considerations to be part of the new regime that is being discussed. Women from the South and the North, we have get together, and now we have, for the first time in the climate change debate, 38 reference to gender in the new negotiation text. Even the South Arabians and the Arab states had supported us. Unfortunately, Canadian delegates to the climate change have not supported or provided comments on any of the gender texts under discussions. Ask your government to support the work that the countries are doing to ensuring that gender considerations are put in the strategies that they're conducting. Make sure that the financial mechanisms and instruments associated with climate change should include the mainstreaming of a gender perspective and women empowerment. Let me end with 2 remarks. The final rapid environmental changes and the degradation of biodiversity that the world experiences are acting as factors that are preventing, delaying, or reversing the achievement made in the fight against poverty. The rich, of course, will find the world to be a little more expensive, a little bit more inconvenient, a little bit more uncomfortable, disrupted and colorless probably, in general, more unpleasant and more unpredictable. For us, from the people in the South, in my region, in Africa and Asia, a great amount of them will die. Let me remind you that no amount of human planning, preparedness of scientific investigations can completely prevent all the catastrophes we are facing. Floods, hurricanes, wildfires will occur at random and below. Yet, preventing social catastrophe must certainly lie within our collective human capacity. So, for the next weeks, this, as a woman from the South, is my plea to all of you. May I ask you that you choose a woman from the South, a name from a woman from the South, put it in your pocket, in your purse, next to your heart, and walk for her. Talk with her. Make our voices be heard. Each one of you can make a difference. This is the plea from us women from the South. Thank you very much.